There's a new scandal in China that's got everyone talking. A shoe sole tracker. Yes, you heard that right. Some shoppers are reporting that they've discovered strange tracking devices hidden in the soles of their new shoes. Naturally, this sparked a wave of fear, with people quickly connecting it to the alarming number of missing persons cases among Chinese teenagers. According to Finance Cold Eye and other online influencers, more and more consumers are finding hard suspicious components after removing the insoles of their sneakers. Could this be a tracking device? People are wondering, who's behind this? Is it a sneaky manufacturer planting these devices? Or is there a bigger, more sinister agenda at play? One blogger even connected it to the celebrity Yu Long, suggesting that his oversized shoes could be hiding something. But the most chilling theory? These devices might be used to track young people, especially those aged 16 to 22. Many online users sarcastically said, "Buy shoes, get a free tracker. This is next level surveillance technology." Others said, "Finally, it makes sense why so many young people are disappearing in China." In recent years, there have been frequent cases of mysterious disappearances of young people in China. For instance, the case of Hu Xingyu, a 15-year-old high school student from Shangrao, Jiangxi, who went missing after a late study session, caught the attention of many. On the day Hu Xingyu disappeared, he was wearing a white hoodie, black sports jacket, glasses, black and white striped pants, and white Warrior brand classic leisure shoes. After 106 days of searching, Hu Xingyu's body was found near a bamboo forest in Jinjishan, close to his school. The official ruling was that he had committed suicide, but the public remained skeptical about the official explanation. Hu Xingyu's case is just the tip of the iceberg. Some reports estimated that as many as several 100,000 young people go missing in China each year. One report even states, on average, 550 children go missing every day. In the past, there were schools that tried to provide students with smart uniforms equipped with RFID chips to track when students entered and exited the school gates, with real-time updates sent to parents and teachers. The controversy surrounding this system not only centered on potential privacy invasions, but also reminded people of a Big Brother type of real-time surveillance. Against this backdrop, the revelation of shoe sole trackers has reignited concerns among the public. One netizen joked that if you find a suspicious device in your shoes, don't destroy it. Instead, place it on a moving object like a bus or a stray dog, so the tracker thinks you haven't noticed, confusing those trying to track you. Of course, that's just a temporary fix. In a country that's already covered in countless Skynet-style surveillance cameras, it should be easy for the authorities to locate anyone who goes missing. So why are so many people still disappearing? Could it be that the real culprit is the authoritarian regime that controls everything? In mainland China, it's not just the brainwashed little pinks who suffer. Oh no, it's the regular folks too. Recently, a massive clash broke out in Tongguang village, Zhaoqing City, Guangdong province, over a land dispute. Hundreds of villagers confronted construction workers, standing off from dawn till late into the night. The confrontation led to pushing, shoving, and some physical clashes, with at least one woman injured. More than 10 villagers were taken away for questioning, but were released later that night. This incident has become the latest example of how land disputes in rural Guangdong are escalating. The whole thing started around 9 a.m. on November 12. Several villagers reported that local authorities sent a large group of people to Tongguang village, trying to resume construction on a project that had been halted due to villagers' objections. On that day, 3 buses packed with people and 2 ambulances entered the village. When the construction team arrived, they formed a shield line with riot shields, separating the villagers from the worksite. Upon hearing the news, the villagers began banging gongs to alert others, and some even lit fireworks to call for reinforcements. The standoff turned violent. The villagers' protest tents were torn down, and a woman was knocked over and injured. Some villagers threw dirt in protest, causing a chaotic scene. The protests, largely led by elderly people and women, continued despite the chaos. It wasn't until around 11 p.m. that authorities sent more police to the village and took away more than 10 villagers involved in the protest. Fortunately, all were released that night. The standoff lasted over 10 hours, with the villagers on edge throughout the ordeal. The core of the conflict involves a large-scale livestock project, the Zhaoqing Dinghe Sandou farming project. The project is planned to cover about 494 acres and span 3 villages, including Tongguang. The plan is to build a modern pig farm that will produce 500,000 fattened pigs annually, with a total investment of over 1.7 billion yuan. Many villagers from Tongguang said they only found out this year that some of their farmland and mountain areas had been rented out for farming and solar energy projects with a 30-year lease. A villager using pseudonym Zhao Xingyi told overseas Chinese media that the village leaders allegedly pocketed several 100,000 yuan from the land rent, but the villagers didn't see a penny. Villagers repeatedly asked to see the accounts and contracts, but the local leaders avoided them. Another villager using pseudonym Liu Yunlong confirmed that the rent for the land was never distributed, and the village committee refused to provide clear information, even claiming there was no contract. Many villagers are worried that once they lose their land, their livelihoods will be completely cut off, and now there's no land left to farm. It turns out that the company handling the project is Zhongshan Electric Power Engineering Company Limited, a state-owned enterprise, with a consortium that includes Guangdong Construction Engineering Group and Zhongshan Traffic Development Group. Aside from compensation issues, villagers are particularly concerned about the pollution risks posed by the pig farm. Residents of Tongguang pointed out that the project is only 2 kilometers away from the village's water source, and they fear wastewater discharge could contaminate their drinking water. Since the project started in October last year, dozens of construction vehicles have passed through the village daily, causing constant disturbances. Tongguang, home to thousands of people, have seen villagers blocking construction vehicles since August, even managing to stop several vehicles and causing some collisions in mid-October. Work was forced to stop. But by November 12, the situation escalated into another large-scale confrontation. Villagers have been fighting for their rights for 5 months, with the government making numerous verbal promises to resolve the issue but failing to provide clear answers. One villager said, "They've dragged this out until now, and there's still no resolution." In fact, the conflict in Tongguang is not an isolated case. Since Guangdong launched the 3 Cleans, 3 Demolitions, and 3 Rectifications campaign in 2018, land and housing disputes have been on the rise. In January this year, villages in Pingjai, Leizhou, were affected by forced demolitions, with one villager being taken by police during a protest. Similar reports have surfaced, including unfulfilled compensation, private land contracting, and destruction of farmland. For example, in August this year, villagers in Yangchun, Yangjiang, accused authorities of seizing their land without compensation, while in June, villagers in Qikeng, Chaozhou City, complained that local officials collaborated with the town government to destroy farmland and privately contract the land for profit, leaving the villagers with no land to farm and no water to use. These kinds of incidents are spreading across Guangdong province, deepening the rural tensions. As of now, the land dispute in Tongguang village remains unresolved. The project is at a standstill, and neither the government nor the village committee has publicly addressed the village's concerns. The locals say they'll keep guarding the land until a reasonable resolution is reached. How this dispute will end is still up in the air.
Unfortunately, for many Chinese people, especially the elderly, the simple concept of staying quiet in public is 1,000 times harder than keeping a classroom of elementary school students quiet. On November 11th, a video that went viral on social media triggered a storm in both Hong Kong and mainland China. The footage showed a group of middle-aged and elderly people They were dressed in blue uniforms, walking in a neat line along Victoria Harbour in Hong Kong. As they walked, they waved their arms and marched loudly, while behind them, a high-volume sound system blasted a heavy beat. This group was known as China's Marching Group. While it's nothing new in mainland cities, this time they brought their march to Hong Kong. In the video, the peaceful waterfront area was suddenly surrounded by deafening music. Many tourists who had been resting by the water and enjoying the night view appeared visibly annoyed, and some even left the area. Someone filmed the scene and uploaded it to the internet, where it quickly garnered over 100,000 views and sparked a flurry of comments. It turns out that this marching group came from Shenzhen and arrived early that day via tourist bus to Hong Kong. They had planned a healthy walking activity along Victoria Harbour, but it turned into a noise bombardment instead. In Hong Kong, public spaces have clear noise regulations. The playground regulations stipulate that if music played in public causes disturbance, the offender can be fined up to 10,000 Hong Kong dollars and imprisoned for 14 days. While the video doesn't show police intervention, many Hong Kong netizens couldn't help but express their anger in the comments. One comment reads, "Disrupting the order and peace, really selfish." Another bluntly criticized, "Low-class culture. Do they have to show it in Hong Kong too?" One person even joked, "If we carry a Vindicate June 4th banner in front of them, let's see if they still march." Even mainland Chinese netizens couldn't stand it and commented, "What a shame, bringing embarrassment to Hong Kong." Others said, "Which province are these people from? They were embarrassing us in Korea, and now they're doing it everywhere." Some even sighed, "Being hated in mainland China isn't enough, now they have to go to Hong Kong to be looked down upon. It's just unbelievable." In fact, this marching group has long been a controversial social phenomenon in mainland China. They often cause social conflicts due to excessive noise, blocking roads, and disrupting traffic. On July 15th this year, a marching group in the Daling River scenic area in Chaoyang City, Liaoning Province, occupied a road along the river and even blocked the passage of ambulances and fire trucks. The related video went viral online, drawing widespread criticism. Many netizens believed these people were using fitness as an excuse, but were actually disregarding rules and disrupting order. As early as July 2017, a fatal accident occurred in Lingyi, Shandong Province. It was caused by a marching group. At 5 a.m., a group of marchers occupied the road, and a taxi coming from behind crashed into the crowd. The accident resulted in 1 death and 2 injuries. The tragedy brought the marching group issue to national attention for the first time. On the evening of November 11, 2024, the same day as the Hong Kong incident, a horrifying car accident occurred at the Zhuhai Sports Center in Guangdong Province. A man drove his car into a marching group walking the square, causing 38 deaths and 47 injuries. This shocking incident stunned the entire country and once again pushed the marching group disorder to the forefront of public discourse. In addition to the disturbing marching group phenomenon, another shocking event took place recently in Shifeng City, Inner Mongolia. A cabbage farmer, Mr. Li, saw over 30 acres of his crops raided by hundreds of people in just 2 days, causing an estimated loss of over 1 million yuan. The incident began in a short video on social media. An influencer called Confident Sister showed herself loading cabbages onto a truck, with a caption claiming, "Inner Mongolia's cabbages were hit by hail and are free to pick up." What started as a small-scale post quickly triggered a massive rush to steal the cabbages. Initially, only a few local villagers came to pick the cabbages out of customary practice, which Mr. Li thought was harmless. However, at the end of October, the official media outlet Hongshan Evening News reposted the video without verifying the information, causing the rumors to spread rapidly. On November 4th, a large crowd of people surged into the fields and began to steal cabbages. Video footage showed hundreds of people with sacks, riding electric bikes, and even driving trucks into the fields. The crowd moved like a tidal wave, with some even tearing down the protective nets. 5 or 6 workers at the scene were powerless to stop them. Mr. Li helplessly said, "I never said they were free. Even when the police arrived, they couldn't stop them. In the end, all the cabbages were stolen." Agricultural experts pointed out that cabbage, being a seasonal vegetable, has strict timing for harvesting. Of the 30 acres of cabbage, about 60% had reached the optimal harvesting standard. However, the rest were damaged due to mechanical harm and delayed harvesting, causing a significant decline in quality. More seriously, the mass looting also caused about 100,000 yuan in damage to the field equipment, leading to severe losses for Mr. Li. Despite his repeated pleas on social media, the crowds continued to rush in. Whether it's wild dancing in Japan, chaos in Hong Kong, or cabbage looting in Inner Mongolia, these events reveal a deep moral issue among many Chinese people. Under the long-standing education of the Chinese Communist Party's culture, they often prioritize personal gain, lack basic respect for others and their property, and show little understanding or care for public order and fundamental ethics.
In Guangdong, villagers are fighting in bloodshed for their legitimate rights, but in Hernan's Xiangcheng, people are taking advantage of weddings to commit robbery. Recently, what should have been a joyous wedding was ruined by an unexpected roadside request for gifts. In a video filmed by bystanders, a middle-aged man is seen intercepting a wedding car at an intersection. Under the guise of asking for a gift, he demands red envelopes and cigarettes. When the bride and groom refuse, he blocks the car's path. This leads to a scuffle, and the newlyweds, who were expecting a day of celebration, are now dealing with this sudden gift demand, leaving them with no smiles and a need to call the police. In recent years, these wedding heists have become a common sight on social media. Just this October in Zhoukou, Henan, a newlywed couple was blocked by several elderly people who demanded red envelopes and cigarettes. When they politely gave something, the elderly wouldn't leave and were eventually removed by the driver. In April 2025, in Changchun, Jilin, a man intercepted a wedding convoy, forcibly demanding red envelopes and even broke off a Golden Man emblem from a Rolls-Royce in the wedding procession. In November 2022, in Fuyang, Anhui, a man blocked a wedding car with a tricycle and even stuck his leg under the car, using intimidation to demand red envelopes. Wedding car gift demands, used by a traditional custom in some parts of China, neighbors and friends would ask for or give red envelopes or candy, symbolizing interaction and blessings. But somehow, this tradition has been twisted into a forced demand, with some even viewing it as a money-making method. So, is this practice illegal? A partner at Beijing's Kyoto law firm, Xu Wei, explained that traditionally, asking for small gifts like candy or red envelopes is voluntary and does not violate the law. However, if people block wedding cars and demand money with the intent of illegally taking possession and using pressure tactics like blocking the road, it clearly crosses the line into illegal behavior. Xu Wei pointed out that robbery requires violence or threats severe enough to prevent the victim from resisting. Most wedding car interceptors use soft coercion, pressuring the newlyweds not to delay the auspicious hour or causing embarrassment. This falls under extortion. If the amount reached a certain threshold, for example, 1,000 to 3,000 yuan, or if done repeatedly, the perpetrators could face criminal punishment. In rare cases, intercepting wedding cars could escalate to robbery. If they hit the car, pull the doors, or use violence, that's enough for a robbery charge, with a minimum sentence of 3 years in prison, even if no money is taken. Xu Wei also reminded that even if the newlyweds don't comply, the act of disturbing public order itself could result in punishment under public security laws.
China's housing market collapses like dominoes. A recent headline went viral online. A house bought for 4.2 million yuan 3 years ago is now worth only 900,000. This shocking news isn't from a third or fourth tier city in China. It comes from Nanjing, one of the top cities in both economic and industrial development. Many thought core assets in first tier and strong second tier cities couldn't drop significantly, but reality has shown otherwise. The cliff-like fall in housing prices has swept across the country without discrimination. Take Nanjing's China Resources International Community, for example. The once promising premium community saw its prices soar to 48,000 yuan per square meter in 2021. Buyers rushed in during the booming market. Now, the latest asking price ranges from just 15,000 to 24,000 yuan per square meter. The latest data from November 2025 shows that Phase 1 has an average price of 23,300 yuan per square meter. Phase 2 is down to 19,300 yuan, and Phase 3 is only 24,000 yuan per square meter. A 59 square meter 3-bedroom unit in District E can now be bought for just 1.7 million yuan. What's even crazier is that in August 2025, an 89-square-meter fully furnished apartment with a parking space sold for only 15,500 yuan per square meter. Compared to 3 years ago, that's a staggering 67% drop, which means 3 million yuan just vanished. In 2021, these homes were a whole different story. Real estate agents were hoarse from showing properties, homeowners raised prices every few days, and buyers lined up in hallways and online, almost as if trying not to miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, just a few years later, hot properties have turned into disaster zones with their prices cut by half. Families who bought at the peak still carry heavy mortgages, but the value of their homes is far below the loan balance. Many describe their situation as being trapped on a sinking ship. What's even more alarming is that this massive drop isn't an isolated case. In Jiangsu, Anhui, Henan, Hubei, and many other areas, some homes that were once sold for 2 to 3 million yuan are now only going for 800 to 900,000 yuan. Some third and fourth tier cities have even seen properties that were once priced at full value now sell for half of that, with no buyers in sight. In districts like Hongkou, Baoshan, and Minhang in Shanghai, some older communities have seen prices fall by more than 30% from the 2021 peak. In Shenzhen, certain school district homes have fallen by over 40%. In Guangzhou, areas like Huangpu and Panyu are now seeing homes with 30% discounts still unable to sell. Hangzhou, Chongqing, and Wuhan are also seeing their markets hit new lows. Many thought Shanghai and Shenzhen's core locations would maintain strong demand, but now liquidity in the market is drying up fast. The number of second-hand homes listed in Shanghai has surpassed 360,000, setting a new record. Some homeowners are lamenting. Turning money into property was easy, but now trying to turn property back into money is like climbing a mountain. Official data backs up this trend. According to the National Bureau of Statistics' latest figures for October 2025, new home prices across 70 cities dropped by 0.45% month-on-month, the largest decline in a year. Second-hand homes saw a 0.66% drop, the biggest fall in 13 months. In major first-tier cities, prices dropped across the board. Beijing fell by 4.7%, Shanghai by 3.4%, Guangzhou by 6.4%, and Shenzhen by 3.3%. However, Morgan Stanley's data on 50 cities saw that the real decline could be as high as an annualized 10.4%, even more pessimistic than the official numbers. Experts widely believe China's housing market is in a structural downturn. With economic growth slowing, household income expectations dropping, youth unemployment high, and heavily overdrawn credit and purchasing power, the housing market has lost its fundamental support. The belief that housing prices always go up and buying homes is a hedge against inflation is now crumbling. A real estate agent in Shanghai revealed. Investors who used to swap 2 homes a year now can't even sell one in 6 months. Looking back at Nanjing's China Resources International community, families who signed contracts in 2021 are now stuck paying nearly 10,000 yuan a month in mortgage payments, while the value of their homes has dropped to levels seen a decade ago. Some say this is a 3-year wealth evaporation, a snapshot of China's real estate bubble bursting. No ordinary family can absorb a loss of 3 million yuan without being shaken. It's not just savings, it's the future they've mortgaged, thinking they had seized an opportunity, only for it to become a heavy burden. Reality is telling everyone, the era of falling home prices might last longer, go deeper, and be more unforgiving than we imagined. While many Chinese people are trapped by the weight of their mortgages, one man stirred controversy by taking a trip to Japan's Sensoji temple in Tokyo. He went there to throw paper money for a fortune. The act, which angered many online, led to accusations of disrespecting religion and calls for legal action, with some even suggesting the man may have broken Japanese law and could soon face arrest. The video was uploaded to X on November 17th. In the footage, the Chinese man wearing sunglasses and a black hat stands inside Sensoji temple. He casually talks about the fortune-telling culture, mocking it by saying, Japan's fortunes can't bring happiness to Chinese people. Chinese people rely on themselves for happiness. Right after his words, a yellow paper money offering, and in front of the camera, tosses it into the temple's donation box. After doing so, he mutters contemptuously, "You're fooling the Japanese." He then violently shakes the fortune-telling box and draws a slip of paper with the number 68. The fortune reads, "A heroic figure appears from a strange dream. Suspicious matters arise. Though spring brings warmth, it still ends in withered branches." Some netizens interpreted it as a warning. If you don't respect yourself, what looks like a good opportunity is still an illusion. The video quickly sparked outrage. Many online users criticized the man, asking, "What are Chinese people competing for when they go abroad? Who is the most immoral?" Some remarked, "Using paper money while alive shortens your life," while others pointed out, "The Cultural Revolution wiped out the roots of culture too thoroughly." Others raised concerns that throwing paper money into the donation box, which was meant for 100 yen coins, could be considered counterfeit money under Japanese law, and might be illegal. Some Japanese netizens shared Sensoji Temple's regulations, claiming the act could violate legal provisions and called on the temple to involve the authorities. Sensoji Temple, a sacred site in Japanese Buddhism, is known for its solemnity and tranquility. The actions of this man, especially amid the tense state of China-Japan relations, have left many worried about the increasing anti-China sentiment in Japan. While many have been discussing the Chinese man causing a stir in Japan, the 28th International Model Contest's Guangdong region champion has ignited even more heated discussions online. A video shows a woman, older and fuller-figured, wearing a crown and sash, holding a certificate, while walking slowly to center stage, greeting the audience and judges. Her slightly awkward walk and confident expression contrasted sharply with the public's typical image of a model. This stark contrast led to widespread online debate and criticism. The 28th International Model Contest's China Finals were held on November 16th at the Antia Meilan Hotel in Shenzhen. The event emphasized professionalism, innovation, and internationalization. It promoted a crossover between fashion and film. These contests typically focus on professional criteria such as body proportions, runway walk, outfit coordination, and stage presence. The winner of each region usually garners significant attention and media coverage. The Guangdong region, with its large number of competitors, should have seen a champion chosen based on comprehensive judging. However, this time, things took an unexpected turn. The woman in the video, wearing the crown and sash, clearly did not fit the public's idea of a young and tall model. Is this a competition for picking a daughter-in-law? Others sarcastically remarked, "I can't agree with this aesthetic standard. It's not just a little off. Are we picking a landlord from Shenzhen?" The champion certificate in her hand raised even more questions. It has no name or number, just a vague champion certificate written on it, which seemed out of place with the event's supposed professional standards. Official media outlets issued clarifications, stating that the woman in the video was not the true champion. The actual winner of the Guangdong region was contestant number 15, a young model named Aymar. According to footage leaked from the event, Aymar's outfits were diverse and elaborate, ranging from a cheongsam paired with a classical round fan to a formal dress with a top hat and a revealing outfit for the runway. She eventually defeated many younger competitors to claim the title. However, the official event failed to release a full list of winners, and there was no detailed information or photos of Aymar, or even the second and third place winners. This lack of transparency made it difficult for the public to confirm the results, and skepticism online continued to grow. The situation became even more confusing. Despite the clarification stating that the woman in the video was not the champion, she did in fact walk on stage wearing the crown and sash, holding the certificate and thanking the audience. The official reasons behind her appearance and identity remain unexplained. Organizers, sponsors, and event officials either avoided or deflected questions. The vice president stated, "I'm too busy to comment," and the president was temporarily unavailable due to illness. The silence led many to speculate about the behind-the-scenes manipulation and sponsor interference, fueling rumors that the full-figured woman was actually a sponsor's wife. One netizen commented, "There's no information online about the champion Aymar, and we can't even find details on the second and third place. With such a lack of transparency, who would trust the fairness of the results?" Another added, "This isn't a beauty contest, it's a game for the sponsors." Hello, and welcome to Open China. Recently, homebuyers across China have been buzzing about a new term, bank direct housing. These properties, directly listed by banks, are priced so low they almost seem too good to be true. A house originally valued at 2 million yuan is now available for just 1.5 million yuan, with clear ownership and no disputes. At first glance, this seems like the perfect opportunity, but in reality, it's the final struggle of China's real estate market. In Jiangsu's Nantong, Mr. Wang bought a property for under 900,000 yuan. Originally priced at 1.35 million yuan, the seller was a local city bank. The house had been collateral for a loan for a small business owner who defaulted. Mr. Wang said, "The price is 30% lower than the market value. The ownership is clear, and the whole process was completed in just 2 weeks, much faster than an auctioned property." This is not an isolated case. According to data from JD Assets, Lanzhou Bank listed 1,130 properties in 2024, with the number rising to 1,779 properties in 2025. Jilin Bank listed over 2,000, Tianjin Bank nearly 1,300, and Sichuan Rural Credit Union topped 25,000. These numbers reflect the unprecedented speed at which banks are clearing bad debts. Major state-owned banks like Agricultural Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and Bank of Communications have quietly entered the market, setting up teams to handle direct sales online. Compared to traditional foreclosures, bank direct housing appears more flexible and cleaner. A real estate agent in Guangdong mentioned that auctioned properties often come with complicated disputes. Some are occupied by tenants, others have been mortgaged multiple times, and some have unclear ownership. Buyers frequently find themselves losing both money and the property. In contrast, direct sale properties undergo 3 rounds of ownership checks before listing, ensuring no hidden problems. But the most attractive feature is the price. In Lanzhou, a property listed by a local commercial bank is priced at just 2,300 yuan per square meter, while similar homes in the area are still listed above 4,300 yuan. A commercial property in Tianjin sold for 4,200 yuan per square meter, nearly 40% below market value. In Guangdong's Yunfu, a property was listed at just 80,000 yuan, a drastic discount. These bank direct properties have set new price benchmarks, leaving homeowners lamenting, "With banks selling at these prices, we have no room to lower ours." Behind this phenomenon is the massive pressure from banks' non-performing assets. Official data from China's financial regulators shows that in September 2025, the non-performing loan ratio for commercial banks was only 1.49%, lower than the 1.84% ratio before the pandemic. However, data released by the central bank reveals a different reality. From 2021 to September 2025, the total number of written-off loans reached 5.92 trillion yuan, suggesting a real non-performing write-off rate of around 5.2%. In other words, bad debts have not disappeared, they've just been handled in a more presentable way. A post-loan management officer from a city commercial bank shared that in the past, it took at least 2 years for a bad housing loan to go through legal procedures and be auctioned. With so many bad debts piling up now, banks have had to take quicker action. Once they gain ownership through legal procedures, they list the properties directly, and a house can be sold within 6 months. The employee said, "There are too many bad debts, and keeping them is too risky. It's better to clear them with discounts." In this financial reckoning, former real estate tycoons have become real estate bears. Banks, no longer using leverage to drive up prices, have become the leading force in driving down prices. Imagine a scenario in a neighborhood. 10 homeowners are holding out for properties priced in the millions, and then the bank lists 30 homes for sale, each priced at 700,000 yuan. Instantly, market prices collapse. The homes that were once valued at 1 million yuan are now struggling to sell for 800,000. This chain reaction is unfolding at a visibly rapid pace. From January to October 2025, over 600,000 auction properties were listed nationwide, but only 138,000 were sold, resulting in a clearance rate of less than 30%. Buyers are hesitating, and transactions have stagnated, while the bank direct housing market has entered at lightning speed, quickly absorbing the remaining purchasing power with low prices. The market has been forced to reassess. Second-hand home prices are being pressured downward, developers' new properties are receiving no interest, and land auctions by local governments have repeatedly failed. In Kaifeng, Henan, a local real estate agent chuckled and said, "In the past, speculators were raising prices desperately. Now the banks are slashing prices themselves." His clients are constantly sharing the latest direct sale bargain lists, with some properties priced 40% below market value. These seemingly bargain deals are pushing the entire housing market deeper into deflation. What's even more worrying is that the direct sales boom could trigger a new wave of defaults. As bank sales lower property prices, some homeowners find that their outstanding mortgage amounts now exceed the current value of their homes. With no incentive to keep paying, this will further increase the supply of bad debts. The faster the banks clear out their inventory, the faster the price chain in the market collapses. Real estate agents are also feeling the impact. Bank direct housing eliminates agency fees, as buyers can directly search, view, apply for loans, and transfer ownership online, saving 2 to 3% in commissions. Traditional agents who don't shift to becoming bank cooperation consultants or asset disposal coordinators may be phased out by the times. The rise of bank direct housing seems like a financial system's attempt at self-rescue, but in reality, it's a further lethal blow to China's housing market. While bank direct housing is sweeping across China, a short video filmed by Chinese people in Japan have taken the country by storm. In just 3 days, the video accumulated over 3.3 million views, but this high viewership isn't because of the dancing, but because of how embarrassing the video is. The video features a group of Chinese influencers known for their basketball dance performing in the middle of the busiest intersection in Shibuya, Tokyo. With basketballs in hand, they gyrate and pose while filming. For these influencers, it may have seemed like a perfect street performance to showcase cultural export, but for many Japanese viewers, it was nothing short of disruptive and rude. One comment reads, "I hate foreign people who don't consider others, especially those who dance like this in public spaces. I'm so fed up with it." Another says, "Do you think this is showing charm? No, it's just flaunting your stupidity." Others write, "If you really want to make a video, film it in your own country and upload it there." Basketball dance? It's so outdated. This style is 10 years behind. It's just so awkward. In Japan, even street musicians choose places where they don't disturb others, but foreigners insist on performing in intersections, on trains, and in restaurant areas. We can't stand it. Do you even have a permit to use the road? Dancing in the middle of Shibuya is illegal. Go back to China. These harsh comments from Japanese netizens reflect their deep frustration with what they see as ill-mannered foreigners. In Japanese culture, public order is almost a fundamental principle of society. People lower their voices in trains and avoid causing disturbances in public. Shibuya Crossing is an iconic symbol of Tokyo, known as the busiest intersection in the world. There, thousands of people cross in all directions whenever the light turns green. This location is not only a major traffic hub, but also a key aspect of the city's image. Yet, these Chinese influencers chose to shoot their video at the busiest time and in the most visible spot. As they bounced their basketballs between the moving cars and crowds, they seemed oblivious to the surrounding chaos. In fact, Japanese people aren't entirely opposed to street photography. Local Japanese influencers often film in Shibuya, but they usually choose quieter spots like the edges of sidewalks, outside cafes, or in areas where traffic is lighter at night. Comments from Japanese netizens about them are generally positive, describing the videos as cute, creative, and full of Tokyo flavor. Tourists from Europe, the US, and New Zealand also often take selfies or record short videos during red light gaps, but they typically keep it brief, under 20 seconds, and they avoid blocking others. Japanese people usually have a tolerant attitude, saying, as long as it's not disruptive, it's fine. However, the behavior of these Chinese influencers was simply too much for many Japanese to handle. This is not the first time Chinese individuals have made headlines abroad for inappropriate behavior. From dancing in Thai temples to vandalizing Paris streets, from trespassing at Icelandic landmarks for wedding photos to showing off in Shibuya, the scenes of Chinese embarrassment keep repeating. Sadly, many of these young people confidently showing off on camera truly believe they represent a kind of national confidence. Little do they know, to the locals, they're really annoying. True cultural export doesn't rely on taking over spaces or attention-grabbing stunts. It's about respect and knowing one's limits. As one Japanese netizen commented, "You want to be the star on camera, but to us, you're just a joke. Take your basketball dance and go back to your country." In reality, true strength isn't about boldly dancing on other streets. It's about knowing when to stay quiet and respectful.